I'm back with my friend Dr. Bobbi from Fernbank. What's up?
Lots of things. It's summer. There's always something exciting to do at Fernbank. It's hot,
Yes,
we know, but we have air conditioning inside, and Fernbank Forest has a cooler temperature than other areas. So lots for people to do.
yes, yes. I was about to say it's like you've got natural air conditioning, you've got building air conditioning. There is so much going on, but I want to specifically talk about your brand new movie coming to the big screen, or it just hit the big screen, excuse me, and it's Blue Whales Return of the Giants. I'm super excited. I love the ocean. I love whales. I love all the stories about the ocean. So I'm super excited for this. And I wanted to jump right in and ask you about this film.
Yeah, well, we love ocean films too. We especially during the summer, they just tend to do well. Everybody has the mindset of being at the beach. Not a story about the beach, but this film did open Memorial Day weekend, and it's very compelling. It's beautifully filmed. It's got so much rich content about these species that were really just on the verge of extinction, and looking at these positive conservation messages of their numbers returning. So there used to be an estimated 300,000 blue whales on the planet. Now we're down to about 15,000, but those numbers are increasing. So what I love about this film is you get to follow two research groups, one in Mexico's Gulf of California and one in the Indian Ocean near the Seychelles, which of course are both beautiful areas. And you're following along with these marine biologists trying to learn about these populations of blue whales. And in the case of the Indian Ocean, they have not seen a blue whale in more than 50 years. So this one team had like 21 days to go out and explore and see if they could find any blue whales in that area during that time. And I don't know, should I give a spoiler alert?
Well, I don't know. I think we'll let our friends figure that one out. I love how this story is taking a deep dive into, like you said, looking at these two scientific expeditions. And this is something I think a lot of people don't realize is fun about science. A lot of
Mhm.
people think science can be hard or boring. It's a
Right.
big textbook, or it's, not something that is in the grasp of every day. And I love that this film is, showing audience members that fun side of science. Science is fun in general. It's cool to experiment with chemistry and rocks and geology, but this is one of those cool sides of science that everybody can enjoy. It's an adventure film, it's an adventure piece, but it's also super educational about a lot of people's favorite animals.
Right. I think there's a lot of compelling stories and there's a lot of truth behind what you're saying. People hear science and are like, "Oh no, I'm not a scientist." But these marine biologists are so passionate about what they do. And just like any job, and in various scientific disciplines, sometimes there's the grunt work, there's the, okay, I'm sitting for 21 days waiting to find a whale, but then there's that suspense, and that hopefulness around it. So there's a lot of really fun, interesting stories in this film. I know, I think last time we talked, you're like, what's your favorite scene? What's the favorite thing that you learned, or that you really want guests to watch for? And so I had that in mind when I was watching the film. And there's a couple of really funny scenes that I think, this is a heavy topic. This is extinction of animals coming back from the brink. These are really important topics that all of us are thinking about these days. But sometimes it's fun to be lighthearted as well. So there is a scene where they're using a drone. It's great when scientists are using new technology that's available to them. So they're using a drone to take photographs of the blue whales. This is in the Gulf of California, and they're trying to determine the health of these animals. And so, you can't exactly take them to a doctor's appointment. So they have to be creative. And so one of the things that they do is they attach a canister to this drone and try to fly it over the blue whales as they surface, so that they can capture what's coming out of their blowhole. So it's basically a really big sneeze. And so they're trying to capture all the stuff that comes out, and then they analyze it. So that was comical. There's also a really funny, it's an interesting storyline about the health of our oceans and the important role that whales and blue whales in particular play. Um, and who doesn't love a story about poop? So, it's amazing, whale feces or whale poop can be like 50 gallons. So that's a lot. The interesting thing about it is, just like other fertilizer, that's fertilizer for the ocean. So when you have more whales, you have more whale poop, which means you have more nutrients, which means it feeds these phytoplankton blooms, which feed the krill, which feed the which is what the whales feed on. So the health of our oceans, some of it can be attributed to whale poop. So I think that will make people scratch their heads a little bit. But years ago we had an exhibit called Scoop on Poop. So, might as well bring that full circle.
That is something I wanted to ask you about. How does it feel, from, the science standpoint of tracking these numbers and seeing the data of seeing animals on the brink of extinction and sometimes animals not recovering and returning from that? How does that feel to be able to see data of that being collected, them fighting back? It's really such a strange and emotional journey. I know from being a young person into an adult, hearing about pandas being on the endangered species list, and then hearing that they're fighting back, it's like you're cheering for these underdogs. But from a science perspective, how does it make you feel about humanity and the environment and all of our efforts as humans to make the world a better place?
Well, I think there is a lot of doom and gloom around right now on many different fronts, and that's challenging. I mean, museums are about storytelling, films are about storytelling, and I think our giant screen films just really capture so many of those stories. I mean, for me, again, I'm not going to give a spoiler alert, but lots of films, you have that moment where literally the hair stands up on your arms and, you get teary-eyed. And I know that's how I feel. I'm sure I'm not the only one, but I do think that it's so important to tell these stories, even if it's just a glimpse into a little bit. You can only do so much in 40 minutes, 45 minutes, right? But I think hopefully the data, the way it's presented in a compelling way, really will inspire people, again, to not just think, oh, all hope is lost, might as well just let them go. I don't think anybody wants that of any species. We had a film a few years ago called Back from the Brink, and it was focused on like 3 different species around the world that have been brought back from that endangered species list and are well and thriving. And so I think it's great for our visitors to see that in whatever context, whether it's an exhibit or a film, and to really kind of pull at the heartstrings. I think you can't really want to conserve and preserve something you're not familiar with. And so I think that's really what's so great about these giant screen films, is that they really put you in the thick of it and make you feel differently in some cases about their species you may not have even ever heard of before, but you understand their importance to the ecosystems that they live in, and just their importance to life in general on the planet. So I don't know if that answers your question exactly, but I see it as very hopeful, these films, and hope that our visitors feel that as well.
Awesome. Awesome. You said it before, and it's that ocean and summer just go together, especially ocean films. They just pair well with summertime. So I have to ask, what is going on at Fernbank this summer aside from this incredible film? I know you guys have something up your sleeve that you're going to share with me.
Well, we always have something up our sleeve. We like to be sneaky that way and have lots of opportunities for people of all ages. We do have a new special exhibition called Survival of the Slowest. which I think is going to be fabulous and our visitors are really going to enjoy. It's a live animal exhibit. It has a wide variety of animals, but it's got a boa constrictor, it's got a green iguana, it's got a hedgehog, a bearded dragon, and it has a two-toed sloth. So this exhibit is sometimes it's looking at what are sometimes called counterintuitive adaptations, but it's looking at the little adaptations that allow some species to survive that you wouldn't normally think, like, how does that animal survive? It's too tiny. Doesn't it? Why wouldn't it get eaten constantly? Gosh, that animal is really slow. How could slow be good in the animal kingdom? So the two-toed sloth, for example, we're all learning a lot. Yeah, that's why I love working at Fernbank, because every exhibit is an opportunity for us as a staff to learn something new. But the sloth is really slow, right? Sloths are so popular these days, you can't go anywhere without finding one on a journal or a makeup bag or a t-shirt. But they're super slow, and we all know that. And that's a way for them to conserve energy. They also actually have blue-green algae growing on them. So sloths live in tropical environments, right? So they're moist, they're damp, there's lots of greenery. So they have blue-green algae that grows on their fur that helps them camouflage. They also are able to adjust their body temperature. So rather than expending a lot of energy running real fast and trying to heat your body up, they're able to adjust their temperature during the day and night. They're primarily nocturnal, and their primary predator is a harpy eagle, which hunts during the day. So there's all of these like little adaptations that allow the sloth to survive in the environment in which it lives. I mean, it's actually its own little ecosystem. It also has other critters that live on it too. So I think that people will love seeing the sloth, but also love hearing about all the other stories of the animals that are in it. We also have accompanying the exhibit live animal activities and presentations. So I think we're going to be doing 4 a day on the weekends and 3 weekdays. So there's a lot of great opportunities to learn a little bit more than what's in the exhibit, take a deeper dive, if you will, as you mentioned earlier. We also opened a new exhibit outdoors in Wildwood, which is immediately behind the museum. It's called Flora, Fauna, and Flight, and it's looking at the science of flight and how animals primarily kind of defy gravity. Or can defy gravity, but also exploring how sometimes plants can do this as well. So I have a lot of sculptural elements that are new out on display. So I think guests will enjoy walking along the boardwalk in the shade to explore some of that as well.
Absolutely. Wildwoods is so beautiful. I know I said that last time, but it's breathtaking in the winter. It's breathtaking in the spring. It's going to be breathtaking in the summer. Really, it's just such a beautiful outdoor activity. And a lot of people, again, they just don't realize everything Fernbank has to offer. Yes, you have the beautiful building with the dinosaurs in it, but there's so much more beyond the building. And it's super exciting to hear you talk about all the new exhibitions coming in, being able to watch blue whales. There's just so much going on. It's perfect for summer, especially get the kiddos out of the house, do something fun and educational. Dr. Bobbi, I always have to ask, what is one thing that a museum goer can enjoy with Fernbank, especially during the summer season?
Well, gosh, I mean, we've already listed out a few things, but I think if I were coming to the museum this summer as a guest, I definitely would want to pop in on one of the live animal presentations. Those are very popular. And honestly, like I said at the outset, Fernbank Forest is a forest. It's cooler than the rest of Atlanta. I would say come in the morning and take a stroll. It's very nice to get away from the hustle and bustle and the traffic. And just take a leisurely stroll through nature and just, have a little bit of a quiet moment. I think we all could use that these days, just to sort of regenerate. And, taking care of your mental health is just as important as other things that we have on our to-do list. So I would encourage everybody to come, and of course, air conditioning is always great. So you could see Blue Whales or Serengeti. We have both films, and I should have mentioned it previously. We're back to showing Blue Whales is actually 3D. So we're back to showing select films in 3D. So that's something that we haven't done since COVID hit. So we're excited to have that back.
Yay, awesome.
Yay.
Last but not least, how can people find out more information about Fernbank and what's going on?
Well, you can always visit our website. That's the best place to go. So fernbankmuseum.org. Look under activities or education. We also have a calendar. So if you're looking at coming, you're coming on a Saturday, hop on our calendar events and see what's there. And of course, we have calendars, 4 screens up that have activities for the day. If you want to use those are very convenient. But those are the best ways to learn about us. We encourage you to explore our website, because we also have information about upcoming exhibits that'll be here in the fall and into next year. So give you a good glimpse of what's upcoming.
Awesome. Awesome. Thank you so much for your time, Dr. Bobbi. As always, everyone, thanks so much for tuning in. Of course, if you love this, make sure you listen to Star 94's on-demand podcast channel, where you get to hear fun conversations just like this one and so much more. And if you want to stay up to date with me, you can follow me on all socials at itsme_Alyssa D. And I'll see you guys next time.